Good morning, peer runners. Welcome back to Morning Brews and Cruise News. I'm your host, Trevor Shelby, and today is July 25th. It's a Tuesday. It's going to be a good day. I can just feel it. We've got some new coffee today. This is going to be delicious. I can tell you already, and it's going to be fantastic show today. So we're going to be covering some cruise news. We've got some Carnival news, some, I believe, Holland news, Holland America, and some other cruising news coming right up here. But first, we're going to introduce everyone to our week of salted caramel with Bones Coffee Company. So this is something that I found that I thought looked fantastic, and I wanted to try their salted caramel because I will say that I love caramel, okay? And of any flavored coffee, which I'm not a huge fan of, this flavor would be my favorite. So I was wondering how that would translate into everything, so we will see. Anyways, let's get right into it. Oh man, that is just about perfect. Now, what I will say about this Bones Coffee Company is that when I got the package, I bought it on Amazon, and the link will be down in the description if you guys want to try this out this week. It got delivered within like a day. Came in a bag, popped it open, and when I popped it open, I could smell the caramel, okay? I was like, whoa. But it was good. It was a really good smell. And I thought, oh no, they burst the bag open and there's a hole in it somewhere. So I actually looked the bag over. I looked on every side, ignoring that it actually says squeeze and sniff, smell me. So completely missed it. I looked this whole thing over. Of course, there's a spot you can squeeze it. Oh, and you can smell that coffee and the caramel scented there. So just as coffee itself, I'm going to give this a 8.6 out of 10. This is delicious, delicious coffee. Man, I am going to love this week. So we're going to try it every which way. So every day we're going to try this in a little bit different of a fashion. We will see what we kind of get into here. Now, in the intro, I talked about how we had some Holland America news. We don't typically have Holland America news, so that's something nice. If you are an AARP member and you're going on a Holland America cruise, you might look into this deal. You can get up to $200 in onboard credit because you are a member of AARP. And what's interesting about this is that it can stack on the other offers. So this is an extra credit just for being a member. This is one of those stories that kind of it's like my coffee. It kind of gets my brain going and I start thinking about things that I probably shouldn't, which is, hey, can I be an AARP member? I'm not 50, but can I? So actually looked into it because of the story. 1,000% because of the story. Yeah, you can be one. So there you go. Now, the credit for members is based upon the room type that you have and how many days you are on board. So you can get anywhere between $50 and $200 in onboard credit. In a world where every dollar counts, I think this is kind of one of those cool kind of cruise hacks that you can do. AARP continues to be one of those cruising hacks that you just have to be a member to get. And so you can kind of go, you can actually go onto their website and purchase the Carnival gift cards. And I believe it's something you can buy $100 worth of Carnival credit and you're only spending $90 or something along those lines. You're saving a few bucks. And like I said, when in a world where you're just trying to save as much as possible, this not a bad deal, really. Now, what's funny is I don't even need a cat cam right now. We're moving stuff around in the house and things got kind of shoved over today. And I just noticed that Flinty joined us Oh, in her own little way. Now, another little bit of news. And this is just something I found that was interesting and kind of a let's kind of have like a little talking point here. So recently, there was kind of a little to-do with Royal Caribbean, and the CEO, Michael Bailey, was answering some questions about possible new ships and everything. And he talked about the future of Royal Caribbean and kind of like the direction that they're going. We talked a lot about the Icon. And he was asked a really interesting question about like their future for smaller ships. So the Icon sees biggest cruise ship in the world by a few feet. So let's talk about Royal Caribbean's got several small ships that aren't these ginormous ships, but they are quite a bit older now. What Michael was able to actually kind of reveal is that that's something that's actually under deep consideration. Now, they're obviously not going to announce anything, but it's something that's on their radar. He did say that we recognize we have classes of ships now that are getting up there in age, and I find it incredibly interesting that they haven't announced something actually, because not everybody wants to be on these mega ships. One thing that I like about Royal Caribbean, one thing I like about Carnival, is that they are creating these gigantic ships fitting more and more passengers, more and more amenities onto these ships. But there is something to be said about being on a smaller ship. Last year, I was on a ship, the Carnival Valor. It's almost a 20-year-old ship, and for being 20 years old, it's definitely showing its age in some areas. But I immensely enjoyed the cruise. I want to be back on it. There's not anything that's going to hold me back from being on a smaller class ship. They all have their own class, their own style, their own charm, and I'm also a firm believer of you make your cruise. So if you go into a cruise with a bad attitude and you're just not going to have a great time, you're not going to have a great time. So I do hope that Royal Caribbean and even Carnival consider, continuously producing some of these smaller class ships. On Carnival, the Dream class is one of my favorite classes of ships, and I think it's kind of like the perfect size. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. What is your favorite class of ship? How big is too big, or is there too big? Or do you prefer things to be a little smaller? Let me know down in the comments below. Now, this last bit of news is actually really, really sad, and our hearts go out to the family of those affected, by this. So last Sunday, a passenger was reported overboard on the Carnival Elation. The U.S. Coast Guard started searching for him. That search for the missing man was called off Monday night. According to Carnival Cruise Line, the passenger did jump overboard and was reported missing by their travel companions. It is unknown the reason why this happened, but then again, when these things happen, sometimes we don't ever get the answers we really want. On the search team, Petty Officer Eric Rodriguez said, "Our crew takes life-saving missions very seriously. Anytime we can't bring a loved one home to their family is a pain we all feel." The Carnival Elation was on a 4-day cruise to the Bahamas. They said after a extensive search of the ship, they were also reviewing security footage, and that's when they found footage of the man jumping overboard. This actually marks Carnival's 6th overboard incident since 2002. Now, to end on a lighter note, I am kind of getting ready to put out a Facebook group and all those things for morning brews and cruise news, where we're going to post some cool stuff, some news stories, some things that maybe not end up in the show, some things that maybe don't end up on even YouTube. So if you want some more Pure Runners, you're going to have to check things out over there as well. Anyways, guys, that's all we have for now. So stay tuned for more updates from Morning Brews and Cruise News. Make sure you are subscribed. My name is Trevor Shelby. Remember, folks, life is like a voyage. You never know where the seas may take you. So stay alert, stay caffeinated, and above all else, stay cruising. Smooth sailing, Pure Runners.